we're finally getting into the real meat and potatoes of lore piece. We've got the question, what is the meaning of D? We've got a letter passed down through the line of kings that talks about it. And what happened to Queen Lily Nefeltari of Alabasta? Apparently she just never made it home after the 20 kingdoms united and created the world government. And why did Eames show themselves to Cobra? That honestly just seems like an immediate death sentence, like a real, if I tell you I'll have to kill you kind of scenario. I've got a lot to talk about, and maybe hopefully we can get some answers, so let's jump right in it. Going into the meeting with Gorsei, I really thought they'd bring Cobra into one of the regular meeting rooms. You know, the ones that we always see the 5 elders meeting in with other characters, but they're really just getting straight to business. It makes me wonder now if you have to go through the throne room in order to get to the meeting room that we always see them in. And this was kind of just a little halfway point meeting with Cobra, since, you know, he's in a wheelchair. We'll give him a break, but I digress. Cobra immediately gets to the point by bringing up the creation of the world government 800 years ago. We get a couple panels with some of the elders with some ominous ... dots next to them, as if they're hesitant about hearing that. You know, it's a touchy subject. The part of me that begins to stand out from this kind of exposition dump is how the previous kingdoms who lost their families during the war were replaced and new kings were appointed. And the first 20 dynasties' names are no longer found in the lands whence they came from. The history of those families were literally just wiped out. I'm wondering now if the names of the kingdoms themselves were also changed. For example, if one of the 20 kingdoms used to be named like Stormwind, and now it's named Hyrule. Now I know Cobra doesn't mention the name for Alabasta being changed from something else previously, so this is just some headcanon. And honestly, that's fine. I'm not going to die on that hill, but it is a little interesting nugget to think about. But then he goes on to state that Alabasta's situation was different. Queen Lily of the Nefeltari line was among the first 20, but chose not to become a celestial dragon, which we've known for a while now. I think they also brought it up in chapter 908 when they were going to meet with Eames for the first time, talking about the 5 elders. And honestly, good for her. She doesn't need them. It's at this point that one of the elders tells them to just, you know, hey, okay, we get it. Get to the point. And that's when Cobra drops that the only history documents that can be found are from after the Void Century. So nothing before the Void Century ends it is like left in the Kingdom of Alabasta as far as recorded history goes. And none of them mention Queen's name. She never returned, and Lily's younger brother instead took the throne. Now my question from that is, how does he know about Lily if she was never mentioned and the previous dynasties are no longer found? Would Lily's younger brother have mentioned her in some documents about being the original ruler during their time, or maybe like a family tree? But if the brother did mention her, why would Cobra say that she wasn't mentioned? I don't know. Maybe my brain's not connecting it, but it seems kind of back and forth to me. That makes me think that there had to be another source other than the historical texts left in the Kingdom of Alabasta that gave Cobra Lily's name. The only other source I could think of would be a historical poneglyph, like the one found in the Tomb of Kings during the Alabasta arc, where Crocodile and Nico Robin went down to. But then who gave him that information because he can't read it? Robin would be the only one I could think of, but she wasn't with the crew after the Battle of Crocodile in order to meet with Cobra and give him that information. Or is it because Alabasta's situation is different, with their ruler not becoming a celestial dragon, that they were able to keep some of their records of the ruler being Lily? And that's it. Like, just that she was the queen during this time, but then left and her brother took her place. Nothing about where she went after, you know, the 20 kingdoms convened, or what happened to her on the way back from Alabasta. Cobra does say that it is recorded fact that the ruler from the Nefeltari dynasty did not live in Merijois. So they at least have some kind of information on the queen and that she was the queen, but anything beyond that apparently has just been completely wiped. And it's here when Cobra drops the mic with the question, what is the D? And reveals that Queen Lily passed a letter down through the line of kings which I'm assuming she mentions the line of D within the letter. He doesn't say that explicitly yet, but it kind of alludes to it. One question follows into the explanation. But why? And honestly, this might just be me. I could be wrong, but this seems like the wrong group of people to ask that question. Like, let's go up to the self-appointed gods of the world and ask them information about their sworn enemies. Hey, hats off to you, Cobra, for the boldness. He said, I'm about to die anyway, so fuck it. But anyway, and here's a really crackpot theory, so don't burn me for this yet. Could the royal family also be a carrier of the initial D? That's pretty wild. And I'm definitely only bringing up the question and not posing it as a theory of mine because I haven't thought about it enough. Well, I guess I just said it was a crackpot theory, but not a theory that I'm claiming. And honestly, it's probably not the case. I'd have to do some insane narrative spinning for that. Like, why would the celestial dragons allow a carrier of the will of D to continue ruling? With the only outlier for any support towards the theory being that there's Vice Admiral Monkey D. Garp and Jaguar D. Saul. But those aren't rulers of countries. They're just, in the Navy. Anyway, let's put a bookmark on that thought and leave it for now. I'm just going to shelve that over there. And if it happens, I'll pull it back out. But if not, then you didn't hear it from me. Now, I've been seeing a few different theories on who Eam could really be on Twitter and YouTube now that Cobra has divulged info about Queen Lily. One is that Lily never returned to Alabasta because she's actually Eam, which I'm inclined to lean towards a little more. Another one is she was killed along the way as an erased light from history, like how the Gorosei mentioned during Chapter 908 when they bow down to Eam in the throne room. However, there is a panel suggesting that this may not be the case. In Chapter 908, while talking about Cobra and the Nefeltari family, the tallest of the elders says, in other words, they are traitors. This could honestly mean a couple things. If my line of thinking that Eam is Lily, then it could be that Lily disavowed herself from the Nefeltari family in order to become the sole ruler of the empty throne. We do have the fact that there are only 19 swords placed around the empty throne out of the 20 countries that they're supposed to represent. So this could be a red herring. It could, but it seems like too much of a coincidence or a setup to just simply write it off. However, whatever happens next in this scene will probably give us that answer. I'm confident that after this break, either the next chapter or maybe some of the following chapters will get another continuation of this flashback that gives us a little more detail. I don't think Oda's going to do a face reveal of Eam just yet, although I would really like that. But even if he does, that alone isn't really going to build the connection unless we also get a face reveal of Lily to have a little side-by-side. Because when Cobra talks about Lily, it is also just a silhouette. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not a silhouette professional analyst. Moving on from that, though, we get one of the most satisfying double spreads in a long time. We cut back to the scenario with Princess Shirahoshi, and this absolute incel, St. Charlos, is back at it again and trying to kidnap and enslave her. Now, Fukaboshi tries to come in and rescue her, stating they took their eyes off her. And which, damn, I wouldn't have left her side even for a second after the first time that happened. But they do. And when they try to stop him, Mioscard stops Fukaboshi and while telling Side, hey, go ahead and do it. And when he kind of has a little confrontation with Fukaboshi, he tells Fuko that they can simply just run away. They don't have a nation to support. They don't have other people to worry about. They're pirates. And right there, both Leo and Sai just give the accordion special to Charlos. But the second time in the series that a pirate has struck a celestial dragon, it was beautiful. I loved it. And my thoughts on that are, if Sai and Leo can get away, obviously they're going to have to flee unless Mioscard did take full responsibility and they're just good and chilling there still in Marijois. But if they had to run away, this is going to start telling the whole world, hey, you can beat the fuck out of these people and like get away with it, essentially. Granted, again, Mioskar does take full responsibility, as he says, but we'll have to see where Sai and Leo are after this. Yeah, their actions are going to spark a lot more rebellion in other countries, especially with Morgan's having the attempted murder of a celestial dragon printed out in the newspapers. So there's no way that scenario is getting hushed. But lastly, shout out to the color spread of this chapter. Just, chef's kiss to most of the characters. Some of them, are whatever, like Sugar, Bonnie, Tama. Everyone else, thumbs up. There's so much to think about with this chapter, honestly. Like, it's pretty overwhelming to like try to figure out exactly what topic I wanted to really make a video on. So I kind of just went with both for a little bit now, but I can't wait until we get more after this break. And honestly, hoping Oda just jumps right back in where we left off. Though I'd be happy to see what's going on back over in Egghead, because there's a lot of shit going down over there. But as always, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Do you think Im is Lily, or is Im a descendant of Lily, like her daughter? If you enjoyed the video, liking it and subscribing always helps me out, and I appreciate every single one of you. You can find me on here, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, all at Wrath of Reptar. Made it real easy for you guys to find me. And as always, have a wonderful night.